Hey, Coach Liz here. I just wanted to talk with you today about our healthy habit this week. It's all about fixed versus growth mindset. Now, what does that mean? I want you to think about if any of this sounds familiar to you. So, a fixed mindset means that you feel like you're born this way. Nothing can change. You're always going to be the same. You're a foodie. You always give up when things get hard. This is just how you are. So if that sounds familiar, that is a fixed mindset, that you feel like things are how they are, nothing can change. And that can be a really hard place to be. Now, a growth mindset, this is where we want to switch to. A growth mindset means that you realize that your brain is a muscle and you can change it. You can build it. Habits can change. You're not stuck the way you are. That you can continue growing. You can do different things. You can change how you are. Now that's where we want to be. That's more positive and open, that challenges equal growth. But sometimes this can be hard. So I want to teach you one practice that I've learned at a training that really helps me when I recognize that I'm kind of stuck in a cycle. And this has to do with your brain. Now, I've learned that our actions start with our thoughts. Our thoughts become a feeling, which become an action. And so if we can change that cycle at the thought, then our actions and our results will change also. So how do we do this? It's good to sit down when you've had a struggle. Maybe Easter was just last weekend. Maybe you went off your program and you weren't very proud of last weekend and you were just feeling down on yourself. You know what? Every obstacle is a learning experience. It's not a failure. We learn from our mistakes if we sit and think about it. So think about what went on, and then walk yourself through that, and then think about what you're going to do different next time. So let's have an example of, let's say you went to your grandma's house for Easter dinner, and your family was all there, and you'd made a plan beforehand that you were going to stick to your program. Anyways, you get there, and there's all of this dessert, and your Aunt Betty is there with her famous pie, and you start feeling anxious because you're thinking, oh no, Aunt Betty's going to be really mad if I don't eat her pie. She knows it's my favorite. How am I ever going to stick to my program when there's all of this good food? I can't do this. You start feeling anxious. Now that thought of that you can't do it, someone's going to be mad at you, that turned into a feeling like nervous and anxious. And then what was the result? Maybe you ate the dessert because you just felt like you had to. It was too tempting. Your aunt was going to be mad at you. And then you left feeling just awful and mad at yourself. That all started with that first thought. So if we can learn how to change our thoughts, then the actions change too. So I'm going to pull up this wheel. It's called an emotion wheel, a Juno emotion wheel. There's lots of different ones. I just really like this one. So if we look at this emotion wheel and we look under fear, one emotion linked to fear is nervous or anxious or worried. So that's maybe how you were feeling at this party. You had those thoughts that someone was going to be mad at you, or you're afraid that you wouldn't be able to stick to your program, people were going to be mad at you, and you started having these feelings. Let's say that you want to change that, and you'd really love to have the feeling of love. It's Easter, you want to feel love for your family, you want to feel joy, maybe you want to feel peaceful, satisfied, so find an emotion of what you want to feel. And I've realized that we need to spend less time worrying about what others are going to think about us or feel toward us, but really focus on how we are going to feel. That's the only control that you have, is how you feel, your actions. So change that thought. So instead of saying, oh, my aunt's going to be mad at me, I'm so worried I won't stick to my program, maybe just change that and think of, oh, what a great opportunity I have to practice my healthy habits, to be a good example, and to spend time with all of these amazing people in my life. And I can't believe Aunt Betty spent so much time making my favorite dessert. She's so sweet. I'm going to go give her a big hug instead. And she's probably not even going to know that I didn't eat her food, because I've had it before. You can say, I've tried it. It was so good. Doesn't mean you tried it this year. But she's not probably even going to notice. And I'm just going to really focus on having positive thoughts of love and joy. So maybe you go give Aunt Betty a hug and you say, Aunt Betty, you're the best. You're the best cook. I can't believe you went to all this work and made all of this great food. I just love you. Thanks for being my aunt, whatever. And you just start focusing those thoughts on positive thoughts of love and joy, or whatever those thoughts you are, just being positive. That's going to change your emotions. That's going to change how you feel. And it's going to be a lot easier to have a positive action. of not eating the dessert, of really focusing on relationships and talking to your family, maybe going out and playing a game. And then you leave and your result is something that you're proud of. And so this just kind of shows you, like, if you can pinpoint what emotion you're feeling, then it's easier to change it for a different one. So that's just one baby step of when you are struggling to go back and learn from the mistake. Walk yourself through, okay, what was the circumstance? Where was I? What happened? What was my thought? What was my feeling? How did that make me feel? How did that make me act? What did I do because of it? And then what was the result? And then go back and say, okay, how could I have changed my thoughts to make my feelings different? How could I change that feeling? Because our thoughts become our feelings, which become our actions. So if we can work on our brain and working on more positive thoughts, helpful thoughts that move us forward, that's where the magic happens. And that's lifelong habits, things that are going to help you for the rest of your life, not just with weight loss, not just with health, but when you're in a traffic jam or you're in a stressful situation, the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of frustration or anger, that all started right here. So if you learn how to change the mindset, how you see things, then it changes the feeling, which changed the action. So just like a traffic jam, if you start being angry that someone, is blocking your way and those thoughts, oh, he's making me late, and it makes you feel really angry. And then maybe you do something you regret, maybe you yell at him or flip him off or whatever. That all started with that thought. But maybe if you can change that thought, like, he must really have to go to the bathroom, or, maybe his wife is in the hospital and he's just in a big hurry and that's why he's doing that. If you can kind of change that thought, then it gives you a different feeling, which makes your actions different, which changes your results. So that's just a quick tip that I wanted to share with you, something that I learned that helps me along the way to have more of a growth mindset. So that's my challenge for you this week, is look for ways that you can catch your thoughts being negative below the line and flip them around to be a positive thought, and just watch how that changes your emotion. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll talk to you next week.